that is your defense at C range, C plus range. The problem is, the better fighter, if you have any defensive flaws, that is basically where he's going to take advantage of them. And so you literally, so there's, of all the defensive ranges, the most important one to have really down pat and to have pretty tough to get through if you go all defense is that range, because it's the only range for certain you're going to do battle in. Because if you get hit at C range, you didn't have to go to B or A range. I'm not saying that B and A range is not important from a defensive point of view. It's just different. It's more dynamic, more movement oriented, and all of that. The C range importance is because that, once again, the better fighter is going to zap you. He's going to blow it. You don't get a ticket to play the game. All right. So you have to have a decent C range game. So my recommendation is this. I'm gonna put that right there. And I don't care what you do. You can Martin. You can be me. You can be anybody. As long as you have it, it doesn't matter. The Florentiners are really good at that. This kind of stuff. So however you do it, just don't do it with an axe pointy thingy. It's really cheap and cheesy. But other than that, if you just want to, see me after this or see one of these guys, and we can pick it apart. I'll tell you, if you have big holes, you have big holes. If you have minimal holes, we'll identify them for you. Because the highest level fighters that you have here, they'll tell. I mean, they will clue you in. The problem is, if you have big holes, that is a showstopper until you get them closed. I assure you, because once again, the guy who wins the tournament is the guy who lives to the end. You wouldn't get a play if you had a big old hole at C range. So if your style is such that you have two significant holes, please take these words to heart. Try to redo your style until you find one that works for you. Because until you have a firm base from which to grow your foundation, and that base is at stance defense and some movement and all that, you are not going to get any better, because you're not going to chance to, because they're going to kill you before you can have the best offense in the world. You can have Balder's smashing offense and all that, but if Balder had a humongous or even a minuscule hole in his defense at C range, his high level opponent will take advantage of that so they can get off the field. So, but once again, after this, if you want me to take a look at your defense or one of these guys or whatever, please feel free to do so, and I'll piece through it, and I'll tell you whether it's salvageable, whether it's awesome, whether it's terrible, whether you need to do one thing or four or whatever. The one thing that I was reminded about during the break too, and I think that's something that we talked about quite a bit, is the concept of initiative. Now, initiative, ever play role-playing games? Anybody ever play role-playing games? Yeah, so really. We're the SCA, we play a lot of role-playing games. So, initiative, you roll for initiative, right? You're like, all right, I want initiative, I get to attack first. All right, SCA people are fucking terrible at figuring out whether they want initiative or not. And if they get it, they oftentimes think they still have it when they really don't. So what we need to do is, so if I'm fighting Martin, and one of the things that we talked about earlier today is a great plus on your roll to initiative, plus 10. Because if you can do that really quick close, and your stuff is fast and exact, you got a plus 10 initiative, baby. Because he's having a hard time to come in on you. And if he tries to initiate the action, and you have a loose mind, and you can zip out with those good footwork, he's a minus 10 initiative. That's what you want. Once again, it's all very role-playing-esque, but it really comes into play in the SCA. It's easy to see in that perspective in the initial initiative. So, but once again, so if he has some sort of hole or whatever, and I'm bam, done, walk off. However, here's where we tend to really suck. Number one, at a certain level, the ability to really have the explosive and suddenness is, I mean, people have to develop that ability to have that plus 10. But here's where we're terrible. Say I'm here, bam, and now, who has initiative? might be me. He might, and it's easy to tell if he did this or something and hide in his eyes. Maybe I'll stay in. I seized initiative from us. I seized the fight. I came in and did my thing. Now I have to, on the fly, recalculate whether I have initiative or maybe he's taking initiative. And this is when you need to get the F out if you lost initiative. We are terrible at this. Terrible. This is one of the biggest things that we do poorly, because you get in, you're like, I like to be in. Oh yes, I'm like Gil Martin. But you know what? But yeah, I know, I'm a nerd. But I'm actually using role-playing games.
That's happened to me a couple of times.
Who cares? I'm using role-playing analogies about SCA fighting. I'm an ultra nerd. But anyway, so the ability to accurately assess that and calculate, I need more things. I had a little laryngitis thing, so so you have to cultivate this, guys, and the only way you can really do this, for the most part, is time and armor. But if you don't pay attention to this factor, you're never gonna get good at it, unless you're gifted. Now, one of the things that a gifted individual will be able to do, who's super physically intelligent, which we talked about a little earlier, is you'll be able to kind of get this based upon the gestalt of what's happening in the fight. And some people are just good at this. They're good at the ebb and flow of the fight. But when the fight is in here and all that, if you have any question about who has initiative, it's not you. You didn't. If you don't know who has it, assume it's him. All right. So get the hell out. All right. Work to live again. Because you know what we're doing today? We're learning how to have that plus 10 new initiative again. I want all of the advantage. It's never his turn. It's never ever his turn. So what you do is, if you're here and you've done your plus 10 to initiative strike, bam, and he's like, oh, he did a block strike, I don't know, whatever. And if I'm certain, because I've kind of tried to help my lizard brain calculate this in the past, if I'm certain, or at least mostly certain, that I'm still, like, I got a good rebound off that block. I'm like, oh, this is a very nice rebound I got off that block. I'm gonna try to not kill that power. I'm gonna try to redirect it down here, whatever. Then, yeah, I mean, so you do that, but just be aware. Be aware that if he gets his turn, you lost. So I'm not saying that you'll lose the fight. It's that give yourself very fine tolerances for failure. And if you do that, especially in the instance of the middle part of the fight here, where you're like, bam, you're on him, and I don't care if you do the one shot, or whether you're, like, Balder's a great example of a really fierce in-fight, bam, 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 bam. And he can get a feel for whether the fight's slipping from him or not. And he will slip out, all right? I'm certainly less aggressive than that. But don't be too greedy. Don't get greedy with initiative, because you're all here to sway the odds in your favor, take away all the chance that your opponent gets to even play. And you let him play, even for one strike, you lost. All right. So anyway, that's my theory on initiative. It's very geeky and role playing and all that. But to me, it makes a lot of sense, because the ebb and flow of initiative in role playing, the ebb and flow of the actual initiative of the fight in SCA fighting is amazingly important. And the sensitivity to that initiative is a really big part of why the great fighters are great, because they don't lose a whole lot, because it's never your turn. All right. Any questions about that? Saving throws or? All right. So I want to do a quick. That's not quite all. A training session on the offensive offside head, which is different than what we did earlier. The reason we did earlier, we did it first because it's actually easier. And for those of you who didn't think it was easy, because it's not super easy, because it's using your trigger finger to just fire, bam, against your opponent when he's doing the offside, he's doing a slot shot. This is harder.